Welcome to our lunchtime yoga practice. I've got just a block for practice today, so if you wanted to grab yourself a block as well, you would be really welcome to. Any water, anything else you need, finding that and then making your way to your mat. We're going to start our practice today seated. I've already found a seat, so I'd invite you to come towards whatever a comfortable seat feels like for you today. Maybe it's cross-legged, maybe it's kneeling, maybe it's even on a chair. But see if you can start to kind of almost find a bit of a wriggle into that seat. So these gentle sways left and right. Maybe there's a bit of a wriggle of shoulders. Doesn't have to look any particular way, but just this idea of like bringing yourself to your seat and looking to find a little bit of comfort within that. Can sometimes be tricky to come straight towards a seat. But when you found it, let your hands land somewhere down towards the knees or the thighs. And we'll take a moment just to kind of ground into practice, to find the breath, and then we'll start to add some movement back in. So if you can notice just what's happening to the space that's around you, or what's happening in the space around you. So wherever it is that you are practicing from today, you're just noticing a few details of sound, of colour, of texture. Maybe you can feel your clothing or a piece of jewellery on your wrist or neck. Just noticing the space around you, and then that invitation is there to also bring your awareness inwards. And that might be towards your mind, your body, your breath. Just giving yourself some time to check in here. Perhaps you notice the flow of your breath. Great. Let's find a more focused inhale and exhale together here. And we're simply going to inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. You can make it a really big, noisy sigh if you want to, or it can be quite soft and gentle. Together though, let's find an inhale here. And then the exhale or sigh out. And we'll repeat that again, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. 3 more like this, breathing in when you're ready. And exhale out. Breathing in as you're ready. And an exhale out. 1 more like this, breathing in. And out. Awesome. Let your breath just find its own rhythm for a moment. And whilst it finds its own rhythm, we're just going to take a bit of movement around with the neck. So you can let your hands slide down towards the ground, either side of you. For me, I am on a block, so my hands are just kind of dangling down to the edges. It might be that your hands reach the floor here. So if you can let the left ear drop around towards the left shoulder. And the breath doesn't have to be doing anything particular here, just however it needs to be. And then nice and slowly drawing the chin round towards the center of the chest, all the way over to the opposite side. So the right ear comes down towards the right shoulder. And then let's repeat that here. So chin draws all the way round. Left ear to left shoulder. Chin draws to the center of the chest, and then right ear towards the right shoulder. And we'll do that a couple more times here. So you can either continue the movement just exactly the same. If you want to take a full circle or ad-lib a little here, let yourself move how you need to around with the neck. Let's eventually meet back in the center. Let the chin drop down and just pausing here as well. So we're trying to stay nice and tall through the back of the body. just the head that's kind of tilted forwards with the chin tucked under. And maybe you're looking somewhere towards the ground. Fab. Let's lift the shoulders to the ears, and then as you lift the head, taking a few circles with the shoulders as they draw back and down, forwards and up. Couple more of those circles. And what we're going to do here in a moment is bring that kind of focus back to the breath. Exactly the same breath, the inhale through the nose and the exhale through the mouth. But we're going to add some movement into that here, and it's really simple. So the inhale, we're going to reach the hands up towards the sky. And on the exhale, we're bringing the palms together and then all the way down through the center of the heart. The inhale, reaching the hands to the sides. You're welcome to look up if that feels good today. Exhale, drawing the palms through the center of the heart. 3 more like this. So breath in and out. Breath in and out. 1 more like this, breathing in, reach of the arms to the sky. Exhale is drawing towards the center, and we're going to do it 1 more time, but we're pausing with the palms at the center. So the inhale still reaches the hands up, but let the exhale pull the palms down towards the center of the chest, and see if you can pause here. So the thumbs kind of rest somewhere around the center of the chest. If you want to, you can close your eyes for a moment, or you can just bring the eyes to focus over the fingertips here. Just taking a moment to bring your awareness to the present space around you, this moment. And then again, we'll begin to move here. Before we do, finding a slow inhale through the nose and a slow exhale through the nose this time. Looking to find that sense of steadiness in the breath. So slow breath in, slow breath out, but building your rhythm with that. From here, we're going to come around onto the hands and the knees. So you can get there any way that you need to. I'm going to shuffle myself around here, and I'm just going to place my block off to the side. So we want to have our fingers nice and spread wide onto our mat. A little bit more focus on our lower back as we come into our tabletop today. So rather than going straight into cat-cows, so if you can lean over towards the left, circling the pelvis back towards the heels, to the right, forwards and then round, and then let's let movement repeat here. So these circular movements around, and you can make these movements quite big and sweepy, or they can be fairly kind of static in terms, or fairly small in terms of the circles. Let's take another 1 in this direction, and then we're going to simply reverse the direction of those circles. So exactly the same thing, but around the other side. Movement around here. So if you can lean into your fingertips as you come forwards in the movement as well. Great. Eventually, let's come back through to center here. So if you can bring your right hand so it's a little closer to like the center of your mat, maybe it's slightly off to the right, and then the left hand reaches up towards the sky. And if you can, see if you can look up towards the sky where your hand is going. We're then going to thread the left hand underneath, but rather than going all the way under, you're just kind of scooping it under, but hovering the elbow off the ground, moving with the breath to take the inhale. Left hand rises back to the sky. And then on the exhale, threading that under. Let's do that 1 more time. So the inhale, reaching the hand up towards the sky. The exhale, threading under. And this time we'll go through to thread the needle. So the inhale, we're reaching the hand to the sky. And then as you thread under, let the left elbow or the left shoulder come down towards the ground. And I'm not going to go all the way down today, because otherwise I'm going to squish my microphone and you won't be able to hear me. But you might have this left shoulder all the way down onto your mat. Right hand can reach forwards, or you can take your right hand behind you to find your bind. I'm just taking a moment to be there. Maybe there's a slight sinking of the pelvis backwards. Maybe you take a slightly deeper breath when you're there. Fab. From here, let's slide the right hand back so it's roughly beside your cheek. Push into it to unravel the left hand all the way back up towards the sky. And then we're going to repeat this movement to the other side. So if you bring the left hand, again, kind of closer to the midline, so it's like your thumb would be rested on the center of your mat. Right hand reaches to the sky. You might scoop up and look towards the ceiling as well. And then on the exhale, let's thread the right hand underneath the left armpit, but hovering the hand off the ground. Inhaling into the twist. Exhaling into that thread the needle. Inhaling into the twist. Exhaling into thread the needle, and then this time we'll go all the way through. So the inhale is that lift and reach, and then the exhale we're coming down either to the elbow or all the way down towards the shoulder. And then again, left hand might reach forward, or you can find that bound variation here, taking a couple of breaths in that shape. Great. And then can we bring the left hand back near the face, push into the left palm to reach the right hand up towards the sky, and then let's bring the right hand and the left hand back into that tabletop position. And this is where we'll start to bring in our cat-cows. So on the inhale, we'll drop the belly down, looking forwards, chin and tailbone slightly lifted. On the exhale, rounding up through the back of the body, chin and tailbone tucked here, and then simply repeating that movement. Inhaling to cow pose as you look forwards. Exhaling to round through the back body to find your cat. Inhaling as you look forwards. Exhale to round through the back body to your cat. Let's take that twice more here. So move with your flow of breath into your cow pose, and when you're ready, movement again into your cat. One more time. Inhale, cow pose. Exhaling to find your cat. Let's come back through to center, tucking both toes under, but rather than going to downward facing dog, simply gliding the hips backwards here. If this is painful for the toes, you can absolutely untuck one side or both sides and go towards more child's pose here, or it's a little bit of a toe stretch. Great, does not have to be big. We're going to come back and we're going to take the tops of the feet onto the mat. So the toes are untucked here, sitting back either to child's pose, or can you walk your hands all the way back and just sitting to kneeling for a moment. We've got that little bit of kind of push down through the tops of the feet. Depending how your day has been so far, sometimes it's a bit of a kind of relief just to have the feet out of shoes and find that stretch for the top of the feet. Whilst you're here, you might take a roll of the shoulders. Fab. And then we're going to meet in our downward facing dog. So let's reposition the hands nice and wide on the mat, tucking the toes and then lifting the pelvis up towards the sky. Give yourself plenty of time here just to move how you need to. So for me, that's the familiar pedal out through the feet, a gentle nod or shake of the head. Great. And then from our downward facing dog, we're going to slowly walk our feet all the way up towards our hands around the top of the mat. See if you can find a place where it feels like the torso has enough space here. So if you want to take your feet wider, take your feet wider. You could let the hands dangle or take hold of opposite elbow here. Either way, a gentle bend in the knees, a slight tuck of the chin, and maybe that sway here starts to happen left and right. Releasing the hands down towards the ground, and we want to give ourselves just a tiny bit more space out in front of us, and that block that we collected earlier is going to be really useful here. So we're going to take kind of a similar movement to a thread the needle, but not quite. We want the feet about the width of the pelvis, maybe slightly wider, and then our block wants to be in the shape of like a triangle. It makes a triangle between the shape of our feet and our block. You can absolutely do this without the block and just have fingertips on the ground. I'm going to place my right hand onto the block. Let your left hand hang down alongside, so it's as if your fingertips are trying to reach towards the ground. Start to bend into your right knee, and then twisting that left arm to the sky. And again, your eyes might follow the left hand as it lifts. And then let's find an exhale to bring the left hand down all the way to the block. Inhale to take the right hand to the sky, and you can let your left knee bend generously as you do this. Exhale to bring the right hand down, right knee bends. Inhale to take the left hand to sky. Exhale, left hand comes down. Right hand goes to sky, and we're going to do one more each time. So the exhale is the hand lowering. The inhale is the hand lifting. Exhale, hand lowering. Inhale, hand lifting. And then let's bring both hands back down. You can take your block out to the side. If you are using it, you might give the head a gentle shake. So if you can lean back into the heels and slowly roll all the way up to standing. Fab. Maybe there's a roll of shoulders as you get there, and I'm simply going to shuffle my feet a little bit further to the top of my mat. We'll take a few sun salutations, and we're going to take these pretty slow today. The focus being that kind of connection in towards the breath. So if we begin by rolling the shoulders back and down, the palms face ever so slightly forwards, or just where it feels like the arms need to land today. On the inhale, reaching the hands up and overhead, and on the exhale, folding forwards and down. Inhale to lift halfway, hands to shins or knees. Exhale to fold and to step to our plank pose. Let's take an inhale in plank, and I'm on my knees for this first one. Exhale to lower all the way to the mat. Inhale to scoop the chest up and forwards to cobra. Exhale to find downward facing dog. And we're going to pause here for a couple of breaths. Maybe it's stillness for you today. Maybe there's a gentle pedal again through the feet. Finding that pace of breath. And then from here, looking forwards, slowly finding your way to the top of your mat, forward fold. So inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, extended mountains that rise all the way up towards the sky. Exhale to fold forwards and down. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale to place the palms, stepping back to your plank pose, again whether you're on toes or on the knees, lowering the chin and the chest. The belly follows as you push into the palms, elbows to ribs, cobra pose. And then tucking your toes, downward facing dog. One more just like this, looking forward, walking, stepping, however you get to the top of your mat. Inhale to lift half. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up towards the sky. Maybe there's that look to the ceiling this time. Exhale to fold all the way back down. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale to place palms, stepping back to your plank pose, lower to your mat. Inhale to lift into your back bend, but this time, can we meet in our child's pose? Can we send the pelvis back towards the heels? You might take your knees a little wider, bring the big toes towards each other, whether you come down to your forearms or reach the hands further forwards and come down onto your chest, up to you. I'm going to be a little bit higher again just for sound on the mic. But once you come into your child's pose, if we can give ourselves a bit of time there. 5 slow, steady breaths. So if you can notice that inhale and exhale as it flows, this time on your mat, just for you today. Wonderful. When you feel ready, let's meet back in our downward facing dog. So the hands going back forwards, toes tuck as the pelvis goes up towards the sky here. And then nice and slowly, we're going to take the left leg to the sky behind us. Bring the left foot to the left thumb and let the right knee drop down. Now, if you want to take a moment to place anything underneath your right knee, you are really welcome to here. We will be on the knee just for a little bit of time. To start with, see if you can shuffle your front foot, let's say like an inch further forwards than you might normally have it. So can you see how mine is not quite on a right angle? If it was on a right angle, it would be back here, but I've got it a little bit further forwards. Just means I've got more space to kind of work with here. And then starting to bring the pelvis forwards, the knee travels slightly forwards, the hands scoop up towards the sky, a low lunge. From here, let's reach the hands behind as we lengthen through the front leg, lifting the sole of the foot, the heel stays down. And then let's move with the breath. So inhaling, hands to sky, pelvis forwards, this lift. Exhaling to reach the hands behind. Twice more, inhaling up towards the sky. Exhaling that reach behind. See if you can still look forwards even in the half splits. So inhaling is our low lunge. Exhaling is that half split. So we're going to do one to go to high lunge or low lunge and stay there. So we're coming into that lunge position and see if we can pause here. Think about your pinky fingers chasing up towards the sky. So thumbs are pointing backwards here. Nice. And then slowly into our half splits. So we're lengthening through the front leg. And if you need more space, you can shuffle the heel further forwards here. Your hands again can find that reaching position. And this reaching position means that we can then roll the shoulders back and squeeze the shoulder blades together a little bit on the back body. Kind of counter to our everyday sitting. Breath in and out here. Let's take the hands back to the sky, but this time we're going to bend the knee and bring it back into that right angle. Let the hands just come down here and just kind of notice where that needs to be. Fab. Palms find the center of the heart this time. Starting to twist the torso round towards the left and see if you can notice what happens to your knee. Does your knee move out to the side with you? Can you keep the knee where it was to begin with, over the front foot? And if that means you twist slightly less, you twist slightly less, and that's fine. Breath in and out here. Now you can stay with the palms at heart, or then we can open the arms out wide, find that sense of more expansiveness across the chest as you reach the right fingers forwards and the left fingers back. Fab. Option to stay here. Or take the back hand, the left hand to the back of the left edge of your pelvis. Right hand reaches to the sky, and you're using that hand to lean into to support lifting up through the right fingers. So rather than leaning back loads, the focus is the lift to the sky, and there will be an arch in your back here. But maybe that's not the focus for today. It's lengthening up, looking to the ceiling. And then big circle, the right hand is going to come to the ground, the left hand circles up and then follows the right hand. Let the back toe tuck. So if you can look forwards and then step to your forward fold. Lifting halfway, folding back down. All the way up towards the sky, lift up towards the ceiling and then folding all the way back down. Inhaling to lift halfway, hands to shins or knees. Placing the palms down here to step to your plank pose. From your plank pose, lowering to your mat. Inhale to scoop into your cobra. And then you can choose to go to child's pose, or you can choose to go to downward facing dog. Either way, let's take a few rounds of breath in that space. Child's pose or downward facing dog. Fab. And we're just going to repeat what we did to the other side. So if we meet in a downward facing dog, And this time we take the right leg to the sky. Can we step the right foot to right thumb, let the left knee drop down, and then you've got that bit of time just to kind of organize anything that needs to slide under your knee. This front foot takes a little bit of a shuffle forwards. We want to be nice and stable here. So when we have the feet and the knee more in a line, it's going to feel more wobbly. You can take that right foot out to the side a little more to help find stability, not stableness. And then can we start to move forwards with the pelvis, hands reach to the sky, this lifting upwards. On the exhale, we're lengthening through the front leg, reaching the hands behind, and then moving with the breath. So inhaling, hands somewhere to the sky. Exhaling, hands reach behind. Inhale, low lunge, moving forwards and lifting. Exhale, reaching behind. Twice more, lift somewhere towards the sky. Reach back behind. One more, and we're going to hold the lunge as we come in. So as you lift the hands to the sky, see if again the pinky fingers can be the things that are trying to get higher up here. Breath in and out. Let's then reach the hands behind us as we lengthen through the front leg. So if we can find that reach of the fingertips behind us, so the palms turn to face each other, the shoulder blades squeeze together across the body. So we've got this opening around the front of the chest. And in terms of where you're looking, maybe it's forwards to me, a picture of the ocean. Breath in and out here. And then again, let that soften, let the sole of the front foot land, looking for more of that kind of right angle of the knee. So the heel comes a little bit closer to you. We're bringing the palms together and we're trying to keep the knee fairly still here and let the twist just be from the torso itself. So often we have a tendency for the pelvis to kind of move with us. Again, makes it more challenging if we try and keep the pelvis still, the knee still, and then can you twist around towards the right this time. Does not matter how far you go around with that twist, just listening to your body, finding that place you need to pause. And then again, you can stay with the palms at your heart, or you can start to open the arms out wide, just kind of reach in opposite direction. Maybe there's even a chin turning over your right shoulder. From here, the right hand finds the back of the pelvis on that right side, so it's palm facing into the body. The left hand starts to reach up, so rather than reaching behind, the focus is this lift upwards, and the hand is keeping the pelvis over the left knee. You can look to the sky if that feels good. Breath in and out. And then slowly cartwheel the hands down, framing your front foot to tuck your back toe, stepping to a forward fold top of your mat. We're going to take a pause in this forward fold this time. You can stay just as you are, or you can explore taking the feet a little wider, maybe even the width of your mat. And then again, just let everything kind of hang down towards the ground here. A gentle nod or shake of the head. And we're going to give it a little bit of time. We're going to give it 5 slow, steady breaths here. So let yourself just be with this movement or with this stillness, depending. So with that in mind, it can be stillness. It could be some of that kind of gentle sway-like movement side to side. If it is a sway, see if you can find a sense of like fluidity within it. Almost like you're kind of moving with a gentle pull of the tide, or this kind of seaweedy move. See if you can give the head a gentle shake. And then rather than coming all the way up at the top of your mat, I'm just on the side to face towards you. See if you can turn your toes out so the heels are slightly in. Bend your knees and coming into your malasana. So it does not matter if your heels are slightly lifted. You can always have hands on the ground, or we can bring our palms up to the heart, so the elbows inside of the knee. And then again, see if you can find that kind of gentle sway-like motion, almost that kind of as the tide is like coming up and over a nice sandy beach. And it's like a slow tide day rather than a rough sea day. Gentle kind of sway left and right. Fab. From here, we're going to open our arms out, so the palms, say, facing forwards, and just see if you can find a little more length in the spine. Sometimes that means the elbows want to go on top of the knees rather than to the inside. Breath in and out. I'm going to shuffle myself around just so I'm now at the top of the mat. And then rather than taking balance today, we're simply going to take the left hand behind us so that we can collect the pelvis as it comes down onto the mats. Let's take the legs out in front of us here. You can have a bit of bend in your knees, or maybe the legs go a bit straighter, just depending on what your hamstrings have to say about that today. Taking some circles with your ankles here again. So super simple, but see if you can rotate those ankles in like the biggest circles that you can find with the toes. It doesn't really matter which direction that you're doing them in. I happen to have synced mine so they're both going kind of outwards and around and then back together. But whichever direction you are doing, let's just reverse those as well here and take a few into that opposite direction. Fab. See if you can then bring your feet a little bit closer together here. I've still got space between my feet, so I've got like the space of my fist would fit between my feet. Some of you, it might be that you want to shuffle your feet a little bit closer. Think about sitting nice and tall, and the hands just kind of dangle down to the edges. And again, depending on the length of your arms, it might be that your palms are flat on the ground. It might be that you're more rested on your fingertips. And again, this is a really simple posture. Looks like we're doing nothing, but I'm going to speak to a few kind of more muscle groups here. When we were in our half splits earlier, we spoke about drawing the shoulder blades together. So we're going to see if we can roll the shoulders back and then down. So nice and long through the spine. And then can you pull your toes towards you, trying to wake up the muscles down the front of the body. And you can always take your hands there for a moment and just give them a little like, hello, a little tap. Are they awake? And then sitting tall, notice if you start to feel your core engage here as well. And if you don't, doesn't matter. But if you do, see if you can find that gentle Uddiyana Bandha. By that I mean from like the edges of your body, it's drawing in towards the center and then lifting up through the spine. One more round of breath here. And then to counter that, just let everything soften and just have a gentle wriggle side to side. We are going to come all the way down onto our back, so we need to shuffle ourselves a little further forwards. Simple shuffle. Let the soles of your feet come down to your mat. You might have the feet about the width of your pelvis, hands the width of your pelvis. It's like you're kind of reaching out for someone in front of you, or maybe you imagine you're holding a block here. And then nice and slowly, creating a C curve through the body. So the back of the body rounds like you're in cat pose, but then we're going to take that all the way down to the ground. You can land your hands down at any point along the way, or when you land, let the hands go up and over here. Just take a moment to land here on your mat. I'm just going to adjust my microphone so hands stay overhead. And then almost like a kind of repetition of the position we just took. Let's take the hands, the feet even, up to the sky. So we've got this kind of L shape here, and it might be that there's more of a bend through the knees. It might be that your feet are a bit further away. Hands are up towards the sky. Feet go a little wider, so we're now looking for like a V shape between the feet. And see if you can keep the V consistent and take a gentle sway of the feet left and right. This should hopefully bring that kind of sense of rolling like across the back of the pelvis, but quite low around the base of the spine. Difference is when we hug the knees in, it travels up a little, and we can do that here. So if you want to bring the knees then towards you, you can take hold of them or hug them in, and then maybe again this is kind of rocking and rolling motion side to side. We will take a twist before we come into our Shavasana today. We're going to take our left foot down to the mat, right ankle crosses over the left knee, and just give yourself a moment here first. A gentle rock is welcome, or you can find stillness. And then what we're going to do is sway over to the left side. So this top foot, this right foot is coming over to the left. And as it goes towards the ground, it might be kind of hovering somewhere. It might land. If you have the space, you can take your arms into a T shape. I don't quite have the space today, so I'm going to take my arms into a cactus shape. And the chin might turn away from the knees. And then nice and slowly coming back through to center, unraveling your feet, and we'll do the same to the other side. So the left ankle is over the right knee this time. And again, you might find stillness there. You might take a gentle sway side to side. And then can you sway over to the right side? So the left toe is coming down towards the ground here. Again, hands might come out to the sides. See if you can turn your chin to the left this time, or somewhere to the ceiling. And then when you feel ready, coming back through to center again, let the soles of the feet land. The elbows kind of come down alongside the body, and you can land your hands on the front of your pelvis if you like. A gentle windscreen wiper or sway of the knees side to side. And I'm just going to give us a minute here to take any other movements that you might like to take just before we head into Shavasana. So if you have like a favorite posture, things like a happy baby, sending the legs up again, maybe there's something more that you want to take here. This is your opportunity to find that. We'll move into Shavasana in about 30-ish seconds. If you're already there, great. Take an extra bit of time there. And then what I'd invite you to do when you're ready, so in the next 10 or so rounds of breath, we're going to move into our Shavasana. And for some of you, that might be legs out long here. If that's the most comfortable place, great. If having your knees up here feels helpful, I'm going to talk us through that in a bit more detail today. So we want to have the feet about the width of the pelvis, maybe ever so slightly about the width of the pelvis. And then we want to have the feet close enough. So think like where you would take bridge pose and then like a centimetre back or a centimetre further away. We're going to knock the knees towards each other. And this does take a little bit of like checking in with your own body. So if this doesn't quite feel right, you can take your feet and rotate the heels out, or you can take the feet a little wider. What we want to find is a place where like the knees can move towards each other, but they're not quite touching. Almost like they're levitating just beside each other. Levitating is not quite the word, like hovering just beside each other. A place where it feels like it's a little less effort. So if you were to have, say, fall asleep here in constructive rest, the knees might not drop out to the side. They'll just kind of stay as they are, like you're propping yourself up here. You can let your hands land wherever they need to land. Or wherever is comfortable for you for your Shavasana. Well, it's a shorter practice today, so we'll not be here for a whole load of time, but a couple of minutes. And I'm going to find my seat just so I can keep an eye on time. See if you can keep a gentle awareness on your breath, but no particular pattern of breath has to happen here. Just gentle breathing. And if it helps today, I'm going to offer us 2 words in our Shavasana. Or maybe it's 3 words actually. I am here. And you could think of these words as a mantra, aphorism. I am here. You're really welcome to repeat those words each time I say them. I am here. Whether that's in your mind or out loud. I am here. I am here. I am here. I am here, and I honor my body and the rest that it needs today. I am here. I honor my body and the rest that it needs today. You might start to bring some gentle movements back into your body. Maybe there's a yawn, a stretch, or some wriggles of fingers and toes. I'm going to invite us through to a seat to close practice today. There's no rush though, so feel free to kind of stretch about for a moment. Maybe you hug the knees to chest and take a gentle rock again. But that idea is that at some point here we'll meet in a seated position of your choice. And we'll just take a moment to close our practice. You might bring the palms together here at the heart, or let the hands rest down to the body. Eyes might close, or you could bring the focus of the eyes just to the ground in front of you. Sending yourself kindness and gratitude, a big thank you, maybe even a hug. Sending thank you outwards to the practice. We'll close just with one of those rounds of breaths together. So see if you can find a fairly big inhale and an exhale out. We'll close with a gentle nod or a bow. Thank you for joining today.